cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Judges, you did good. I hats off. You guys have impressed me. This should easily be replaced by Danger to My Heart and Magical Revolution. I think I'm already saying it. The comedy and romance, I think, are my two categories I think I hate the most. These all suck. I'm sorry. These all suck. This is the first category where I'm like, you guys, this sucks. What is up, guys? It is time. It is time for the anime awards that nobody likes, but everybody pays attention to, and everybody will vote in, and everybody will be upset about. Yes, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, the most professional and most overdone reward ceremony for the anime industry that has pretty much become the Oscars. But it still doesn't keep me from wanting to check out, just by curiosity, what is going on with it, what the judges themselves has picked, which it seems like every year there's more and more and more judges. And yes, a lot of judges that I have no clue who they are. But I will admit, this time around, looking through the judges, it looks like at least we're kind of spreading out the judges across the entire world, which I think is probably their focus when they kicked me out of the judging system. Yes, full disclosure, I used to be a judge for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards for like 7 years until they, I guess, got sick of me, or they just decided they wanted to focus on, mainstream journalists. But that said, let's just jump into it. I'm not going to sit here and kind of delay or anything. Let's just go see what these judges have picked and my expectations. Let me get my expectations out of the way really quickly. For one, I'm going to assume that shows like Onimai will get completely snuffed out of the entire thing. It is far too niche. Even titles that are not controversial, that are niche, will probably not get any focus whatsoever. Because let's be honest, a lot of judges, admittedly, in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards have admitted to only watching maybe 1 or 2 shows in a year. Additionally, I'm kind of curious about how much attention will be given to shows that are outside of the Crunchyroll sphere, which is partly to do with the fact of availability, and additionally the idea that, yes, nobody watches anything unless it's on Crunchyroll. Things like Heavenly Delusion, Oshinoko is going to be the massive question mark. I think that's going to be the biggest one that's going to be, if this isn't here, it's a big oof. Danger's My Heart, Dark Gathering, and yes, I think probably the more mainstream one, which is going to be a big question mark, is Pluto. But again, we'll see with that whole thing. Additionally, I'm kind of curious about recency bias. If shows like Bocchi the Rock, which again, technically is a 2022 show, if that will be in the awards for 2024. Again, I don't like their new system where it's pretty much going from the previous fall to the next year's summer. Again, just to call it a 2024 award. But that's just how they work the system now. I don't get it. I know a lot of people make the argument of recency bias, but that applies even in the case of doing summer to fall. My assumptions is that, yes, we're going to get a lot of the typical shonens pretty much taken across the entire board, like Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer. So that's an assumption. I am also very curious about situations of delays. Will Zom 100 make an appearance? Because technically that ended in fall, which is not eligible, but it technically began before fall. And so will a partial airing be acceptable? Probably, because as I've kind of witnessed being a judge, they nominated shows that only had about 2 episodes airing at the time. So we'll see. But yeah, let's get started. Let's jump right into it. Let's stop delaying and check out what, again, the judges have selected. I'm going to start with the bottom and go up. Thankfully, they've set it up to where I don't have to see spoilers. But yeah, so I'm not going to do English dubbing because I have no clue of these people and I don't want to say something that I am completely uninformed about. So I'm going to jump right into the Japanese performance. Kicking things off with Anya is an assumption. I think every year Anya's been in there. She's obviously a very fantastic and beloved character, so that makes perfect sense. Denji's kind of a surprise, but not a surprise because, again, this is going to have a lot of big shonens. Again, we got Jujutsu Kaisen in here, Attack on Titan, we have One Piece, we have Chainsaw Man. We pretty much have all the big shonens, and then we have probably the most popular show in anime right now, which is Spy Family. And then Bocchi the Rock, there's our first sign that at least the judges are going to acknowledge that, yes, Bocchi the Rock got snuffed out the previous year because of the whole changes with the rules. And now she can finally get her, Bocchi can get her attention that she deserved. So that's kind of an assumption there. My pick would probably be, honestly, I can't really off the top of my head think of anything performance-wise out of all these characters that's really hitting. Maybe Denji, but that's more in the fact that he did a great job in just kind of portraying just that berserk state. Everything else here is just if you like the character. I don't really I can't really think of anything in here besides maybe Eren. I think Yuki Nakagi kind of did some really unique and impactful performances during that time, during the final season. Chapter, it should be final season chapter 1, right? It says just final chapter, so that it should be part special 1. That's going to be eligible. They purposely delayed the second part of the final chapter, probably so they can be on 2 years. That's my conspiracy theory. I would probably say Bocchi. Just her kind of like panic state and everything. I think out of all this stuff is the only thing that kind of stands out to me. So I'm going to go with that. Let's go on to a best ending sequence. Again, big name shonens. There's Oshinoko. We have Oshinoko has finally made its appearance. I kind of thought that was going to be the case because I think one of the judges on a podcast kind of hinted at Oshinoko. She didn't want to say anything, but she technically said something by saying that, Oshinoko is going to make an appearance. But yeah, there's our first sign that at least a High Dive, the biggest show of the year that was on High Dive, still managed to grab people's attention and get up on here. So that's a good thing. Which again, I think a journalist, even if they are not watching all the shows in the year, like watching up to 200 shows like typically we do here, they're probably still going to see that that's something they have to pay attention to. So that's a good thing. Again, the shonens, this one was, I think, was, Millet. I didn't really get anything out of Jujutsu Kaisen's ED at all. I especially didn't get really much out. I don't even remember Zom 100's ED, so that tells you something there. Their OP was really fun. Chainsaw Man had a million of them, so I would have to go, Maximum Harmony. Great band. I don't remember it, but I think I do. I would probably say Oshinoko's ED. It's just got so much bop in there. Yeah, I think I would go with Oshinoko's. So there you go. Opening sequence again. Oshinoko making another appearance, which is yes. This literally was Oshinoko's OP is literally like the biggest seller, and it is on topping all the charts. It's just going crazy. That's why there was so much fandom around it, and I'm assuming that's why they chose to have it for Furin's OP. There's our sign that at least Heavenly Delusion is going to get some attention here. Surprised that they used Tengoku. I think Disney used that title, so I guess that makes sense. The rest of them, Chainsaw Man's OP. Yeah, that was a solid one, like a super solid one. The first OP I'm believing for this one, much better than the second. I did not like the second OP for Jujutsu Kaisen. You Are My Special. I did not like it. Hell's Paradise OP was really good as well. These are some good choices. Again, it's already kind of showing signs right here that we are focusing on big shonen series, which is kind of going to make me believe that this entire awards is going to be Zom 100, Chainsaw Man, which again I didn't mention before, but yes, that's our sign that Zom 100, even though it was just a partial airing and massively delayed, they're still putting on here. So that means that Zom 100 is going to be on the next 2 years, it's going to be on the 2025 awards for some reason. But yeah, I still think these are all solid, but this is a sign that this is our selection. This is going to be the entire awards is going to be these ones, minus Heavenly Delusion. I think this is kind of a shocker. This is here. It's a good OP, a very good OP, a very beautiful OP. Of these ones, that's a difficult one. I'm like stuck between these three: Oshinoko, Chainsaw Man, and Heavenly Delusion. Kind of for Hell's Paradise as well. It's a super good song, and the art and everything was fantastic. I don't know if they're going based on art and audio. It's just whatever the person that's looking at this thinks, honestly, because they're going to be voting. It's not like this says you must select visuals. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm kind of mixed between these two. I'm down to Oshinoko and Heavenly Delusion. Just to kind of keep things moving, I'd probably go Oshinoko because that's the one that I immediately think of. So best score. I forgot. There's two things that are like duplicates in these awards. I forget what it was. I think it was art direction and something else. Best score is probably going to be Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan. Obviously, I'm geared more towards Sawana Hiroyuki, which I'm pretty sure he was involved with this as well. I did not watch Suzume. Chainsaw Man, very unique, and I like it for the show, but I don't like the music. That's my clear cut right there. Like, it's too much just for like a standalone. It's just a noise. It's nothing but noise is what my argument would be. But for the show, it works because it's berserking. Like it is get you. Things are happening and crazy stuff. Blood's flying everywhere. Chainsaws are going off, and it's just. But when you think about it, like when I think back on the music, it's like it's just noise. Like it doesn't have any substance to it. That's just my take. I'm sorry. Boat to the Rock, the music itself, like outside of the performances, I couldn't tell you. Like I none of it clicks for me. So I don't even know why this is here. This is probably here because when they selected it, they were thinking the performances of the characters, which I don't classify as the score of the show. Many people disagree with that because sometimes the musician, and this is like, I haven't looked into it. Sometimes the musician for the show itself, the composer of the series, will be involved with the actual writing of the music that the characters perform. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know. I don't know if they were involved with this or not. If they weren't, then this shouldn't be here because this is going to be like just your standard background music and stuff. So, and I think it's the same with Oshinoko. It's not going to be the same. And again, it doesn't even stand out to me. So I'm probably going to go with Attack on Titan just because I'm a Sawano simp. So there you go. Best anime song. Here's where things get dumb. We have best score, and then we have best anime song. How many people are actually going to have the distinguish how many people are going to distinguish the two? Let's see what they say. They say the category celebrates a song played during the part of the anime series. This is where I get into Boat to the Rock and their actual performance. This is where I get into, yes, Ruby, whatever, their performance. This is what I think they were putting for this. Just speculation, but again, who remembers the music from Boat to the Rock? Like the background music. Whatever. Anyways, let's just move on. But music performed during, again, I didn't watch Suzume, so I'm not sure where, okay, I was like, okay, what's the song? Without actually sitting here and listening to each one of them, I don't know. I'm guessing they're doing Idol by Yoasobi as like the, again, which is the OP, which was technically performed in the series itself, if I remember correctly, so it's been a while. Kickback. Again, I don't know unless I go back and listen to all these ones. I don't necessarily think that, I think I want to say that when I was reviewing Boat to the Rock, I did say that I wasn't like into their music, like the characters, their performance music. I did love the story and I love the characters and what they did with the performance, but I don't think the music itself was that impressive to me. So it is what it is. I might be thinking of It's My Go. Again, we're talking about shows that were like 6 months ago, which is everybody's problem when they do these votings. Must protect at all cost character. Boji made it back in. That's a good thing. Let's see. Which, unfortunate because he's literally in like, what, 3 episodes? poor Boji was in like, what, 3 episodes of this series? I don't know. Like, most of it was kind of focused on other side characters, which is good. And Okin and all that kind of stuff, which I loved seeing. The rest of the characters, got Meaty from there. She was adorable. I know she was a bit much for people, but unfortunately for most people, they don't realize that's a kid. Unlike Anya, this is an actual kid. This is a kid that's like full of energy and running all over the place and bugging the fire out of you. Anya, she's a character. And I love her, but she is not a kid. Don't take that out of context. They're not portraying her as a kid should be portrayed, I guess is the problem. I guess would be not my pick, but Pochita's not even there. Again, they're just picking this stuff because Chainsaw Man's massively popular. Whatever. I know that was the doll and everybody wanted to get the plushie, but Itori Bochi, I think, is a nice addition to this list. She's kind of in the same category as something like Sueta, technically. She's older, but yes, you must protect the smile. As much as I love Boji, he wasn't really much in this Treasure Chest of Courage, so I'm going to probably say Hitori. Hitori must be protected. Get her out of the trash can. Keep her happy. Best supporting character. I don't think this is an argument. There's like literally no competition here for me. Like, Power, she was fun, but eh. Hange, yes, this is like the very few time that I actually liked Hange. Reagan is amazing. I kind of want to do Reagan. Geto, absolutely not. Gojo, he's technically a main character. He's not a supporting. How is Gojo a supporting character? What? I mean, yes, for the second half of the series, but for the entire first half of the series, he's literally the main character. I mean, you can argue that it's probably the girl they're protecting, which I couldn't even remember her name, nor did I care. It was probably more Gojo. I mean, again, it's probably Geto and Gojo. Like, they're literally showing two of the main characters of the first half of the entire season, and yet this is supposed to not be involved. Anyway, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to spend too much time worrying about that. It's Kana. Kana for sure. I kind of want to do Reagan, because Reagan literally makes that show for me. I love Reagan's character. But I think I'm going to go with Kana. Kana's just... her story is so good. Her character's so good. She's sweet. She's cute. She's got her struggles. Just a fantastic character. Best main character. Let's go ahead and list all those characters we just... If I seen Gojo pop up again, I was going to throw something. Thorfinn's really amazing. Eren, I couldn't even care for. He should be technically a supporting character if we go by the previous tab's layout there, because he was technically... Anyways. Denji... not really. Like, Denji is a character that was kind of disappointing for me. Like, he very quickly became one note for me, and I didn't really care for him beyond, like, the first episode. So, that's an unfortunate thing, but it is what it is. Ittori, that's a good one. Mob, unfortunately have never cared for Mob. I think he's a fine character, but for the show itself, I've never really... I mean, he had a great ending. Like, the final season was, like, the best of the series for me, and I've struggled a lot with the series, but, or at least mostly the third season. The ending was good, though. It was really good. Thorfinn, though, I think probably the most dynamic character of this year. So I'm between, like, must protect and must encourage, and dang, he impressed me a lot with Thorfinn. Just because I had my problems with Vinland Saga's second season, I'd probably say Hittori. So we'll go with Hittori. Bocchi des. Slice of life. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Judges, you did good. I hats off. You guys have impressed me. Thank you. Thank you, judges. Thank you for acknowledging literally one of the best shows of technically 2022 in the awards for 2023, which is technically 2024. Do It Yourself, like the fall season had two really fantastic slice of life, Bocchi and Do It Yourself. Do It Yourself was leaps and bounds for me, the much better show. Yes, I love the band aspects and everything, and I love Bocchi and all that kind of stuff, but Do It Yourself was phenomenal. It was just the character writing, everything was so good. Let's see, Skip It to Loafers is a good pick as well. Insomniacs After School. I think they've pretty much picked everything that I would want in the list. I mean, I would argue Surune, but Surune was technically a sports show, more so than... It's not really classified as slice of life, even though I classified it as slice of life. Horimiya Piece, I wouldn't, because it's just a sporadic bit of skipped content. I hope it doesn't win. I know people love Horimiya, but I really don't want to encourage this kind of trend of skipping content and then making a skipped content season. And I got very little out of this. Like, Rank of Kings, at least I got a lot out of with that skipped content and the extra additional post-anime content. Horimiya Piece was just a scattershot. So I wouldn't want to pick that. I think it's easy for me. Do It Yourself. This is such an easy category for me. And again, I'm so happy that it was actually nominated. Do It Yourself is amazing. So great stuff. Best drama. This is another one that I think is so easy. I think I'm happy to see My Happy Marriage again, a Netflix show that I'm glad is getting some attention in here. And again, Heavenly Delusion being in here as well. It's unfortunate that it's in the drama area because it's not a drama pick for me. Heavenly Delusion is more supernatural mystery. sci-fi. It's not necessarily drama. So again, I'm happy to see that it's in a list that's not just the OP. But drama is a bad list for it to be in. To Your Eternity is another one where it's like, I can kind of put it in the drama area, but it's not really that area for me. It's more fantasy and psychological and stuff like that. But again, happy to see it get attention. I wouldn't pick it because as much as I love To Your Eternity, as much as I love Tasty Peaches, this is not... It wasn't a good adaptation. It's just too drug out. I think it's an easy one for me. As much as I love My Happy Marriage, the second half of the series wasn't that great, whereas Oshinoko was... The entire thing was great. But we all know Attack on Titan's going to win. But I hope Oshinoko wins. I really do hope that people show up for this awards because so far I'm not upset. Like so far I'm getting a lot of shows in here that I am happy that are in the list. So I'll do a quick check to make sure how they match up with my list. But we'll see. Fantasy, the best fantasies. We have again. I apologize to the judges. At least you are recognizing stuff that I never thought you would. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, it gets snuffed out every single year, but again, happy to see it here. I, for the record, pushed to have Mushoku Tensei in one of the years, and I got pretty much pushed out most of the time. So I'm glad to see that they're all recognizing it at this point and giving it the attention that it deserves. So that's great stuff. Because technically, to explain, yes, technically, Mushoku Tensei, when the first season aired, I was a judge, pushed it heavily. The second half of the first season, I was not a judge and didn't get much attention there. It got another kind of offering to be in there because they changed the rules around. So its second part had 2 chances to get into an award, if I remember correctly. And now they're kind of giving that attention. Mushoku Tensei was in the previous year, but I think Slime beat it like into the ground, which doesn't surprise me too much. Slime is very popular. But anyways, expected, happy about it. This one's extremely easy for me. As much as I love Treasure Chest Courage, there's like 4 or 5 episodes of like shrug. I can see why this was skipped. It should have been the first season, but the stuff around Oken and stuff like that made it extremely worth it. But so I'm kind of mixed on this one. Like on one half of this Treasure Chest Courage is skip content that should have been in the first season, and I hate that it's not in the first season. And some of it's kind of blah. But the second half is great new content that I really ate up. So ate up. But no, it's easy pick for me. It's going to be Mushoku Tensei. All right, so Mushoku, easy pick. All right, best action. The category that is not for Andrew, because everything in here is going to be pretty much... Well, I did pick Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. They're technically fun action series. I didn't pick Bleach because typically in my awards, I don't pick shows that have been running for god-awful amount of episodes. So they get their time. I love them. I love Bleach to death. It's my favorite shonen of all time. But yeah, it's definitely up there. For me, I think just for like pure enjoyment, the stuff that I enjoy is probably Chainsaw Man. As much as people give a lot of slack or a lot of hate, I think Chainsaw Man for me was a lot more enjoyable than the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen. The first half of this, which technically is what this should be, was a lot more enjoyable. I like Gojo. He's literally the only character I give any craps about, which is probably an explanation as why I didn't care much for the second half, because Gojo's not even around. I other than Gojo himself, I don't really care much for the show, unfortunately. And Demon Slayer Village Arc started out strong, but it had its usual like drug out shonen battle kind of thing going on that kind of was losing me after some point. But it was still enjoyable. It was a massive step up from the second season, which was I got fatigued by. It was just the battle was too long, which I know is shocking to say, but just for like interest and everything and like that story and the characters, I'd probably say Chainsaw Man. So that's just me though. I'm not the biggest shonen fan anymore. Comedy. There's no Odd Taxi. That's a good thing. we got a good start. At least we don't have an Odd Taxi in here. I still can't get over that Odd Taxi was a comedy nominee. Anyways, Urusei Yatsura, unfortunately, I would have to say is very dated. and it's kind of stripped of a lot of its ecchi humor, and that kind of leaves it very plain. I still love it. I still love Lum, but it's just not that interesting. Mashal is extremely boring for me, so that's a big no for me. It's just literally Harry Potter spoof jokes and One Punch Man. It's Harry Potter meets One Punch Man, and there's nothing original about it, in my opinion, besides the shoe cream and the obsession with cakes. Other than that, Boat to the Rock wasn't hilarious for me. I think it's super sweet and super sweet and super sweet and super wholesome, and I think it's adorable, but it wasn't like a laugh out loud comedy for me. Buddy Daddies, I didn't get much laughs out of. It was, again, more wholesome and fun. Spy Family, especially not this season, no. This is season 1, core 2. Gosh, again, we're going way back in the fall of the previous year. We're going back 2 years ago. So dumb. Anyways, not 2 years ago, but like almost a year and a quarter here. Gosh dang. These all suck. I'm sorry. These all suck. This is the first category where I'm like, you guys, this sucks. I'm happy to see Urusei Yatsura on here as much as it doesn't work for me, but gosh, what did I pick for comedy? Let me refresh myself to make sure that I'm not stepping out of line here. Like, I would even put Do It Yourself in here, because I laughed a lot more with that freaking series than Bocchi the Rock, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Let's go back here. Let me check my comedy list. What did Andrew's terrible taste in comedy include? Gosh dang, I am suddenly very upset here. Okay, judges. Judges. Handyman Saito. That show was hilarious, dude. Dangers in My Heart. Hilarious. Well, I would say Handyman Saito is probably a lot more hilarious than Danger in My Heart. I just like Danger in My Heart more. But Handyman Saito for sure should have been in the list. Kaguya-sama Love is War? Maybe they're not including the movie split in the OVA. Could be. So maybe I can give them a pass on that one. But still, Kaguya-sama should have been there. Easy. 100 Girlfriends, I understand because that's a fall show. And again, they don't include that. Onimai. Again, I had zero expectation anything Onimai is going to be in this list, so that doesn't shock me either. But yeah, I think the biggest oof in that is probably going to be the lack of Kaguya-sama Love is War and Handyman Saito. Like, where are those two? Again, I don't find Zom 100 that funny. It's a fun show. Like, it's super fun, but anyways. There you go. I don't know. I don't find any of these that comedic. I guess Urusei Yatsura. That's the only one that I got like some good laughs out of. The rest of these I didn't really laugh much. Even unfortunately Spy Family I did not. Well, that's part 2. Even more so, part 2 of season 1. I can't remember a single joke in that whole segment. They had the whole tennis court thing, which was super boring. But Chris, my co-host Talk Spirit, he loved that segment. So maybe it's just me. Again, comedy is very subjective. Comedy is the most subjective series ever, or genre ever. Best romance. Let's just go on a romance. These are all good. These are all good. The biggest oof here is Dangers. Judges. Is none of the judges watching Dangers? Like, am I alone here? This was last year, right? Did anybody else watch this? Judges, wake up. Watch literally the best romance series of like the last decade, if not more. That's a big, massive oof. The lack of magical revolution is kind of shocking for me. I figured there would be quite a, I'll just say, support in certain writers and journalists in what magical revolution kind of pushes. It is a Yuri show that is not baiting. And so the idea that there would not be a desire to lift up magical revolution is kind of a shock for me. Like, we're not talking about like Yuri Is My Job or any of the other Yuri bait series that are just kind of pushing these really unhealthy relationships that just tease you. Magical Revolution is a massive story about the idea of two female characters coming together and supporting each other in a very healthy way. So that's a kind of a shock that that's not in here. And it's literally one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, Dangers in My Heart, literally my top 2 are extremely sad to not see in this list. Danger in My Heart and Magical Revolution. Skippin' Loafers is is sweet. And I do love the brief moments that we have with the two characters. It doesn't really go anywhere, which is unfortunate. So I don't know that I would put this in the list. Tomo-chan is kinda. I think it's too comedy-based rom-com that it just doesn't feel natural in any way. I do really like Yamada-kun. I think this is a good pick. My Happy Marriage is a very good pick. Very beautiful show. Horimiya should not have been in this list. Again, this is a mishmash of skip content. This should easily be replaced by Danger to My Heart and Magical Revolution. I think I'm already saying it. The comedy and romance, I think, are my two categories I think I hate the most. Insomniac After School, very good pick. These two, very good picks. This one, yes. These three, no. I would say these three, take them out. These should have not been here. You should have had Danger My Heart, Magical Revolution. What else? I guess, yeah, I would have replaced Horimiya and Tomo-chan with Dangers and Magical Revolution. Easy. Easy picks. This is kind of a big oof for me. I'm very mad with it. I think this is the first list that I'm actually genuinely mad. Like, comedy, I kind of understand because, again, comedy's subjective. Romance, I just don't see it. Like, you have to show me how much in here is actually good romance. And it literally is just nothing but kicking people around and saying and accepting somebody for being a love interest and not a friend. We've seen that before. Move on. If I had to pick, I would go with probably My Happy Marriage. There's a side of me that kind of wants to inch towards Yamada. I do really like Insomniacs, but it takes a bit to get to it, and it's not a finished story. They're not. Most of them are not finished stories, Andrew. But here's where we get into the two categories that are kind of the same. Best art direction. What do they define it as? Let's see what they define it as. Art direction, because nobody's going to read this, by the way. Anybody that votes here is not going to read this. They're going to go Demon Slayer, or they're going to go Jujutsu Kaisen. Art direction. They're just going to pick what show they like. Art direction involves all things visual to create the look and feel of an anime. Color design, animation style are only some of the considerations. As the tiniest details must be kept in mind so that the show feels like cohesive and distinct work of art. That is a kind of a terrible explanation there, but what do they do? Cinematography. This is the other one they just recently added. Cinematography focuses on the composition of individual scenes, paying particular attention to the use of light and shadow, camera angles, depth of field, scene transitions. This is... Nobody's going to know what any of this is. Nobody's going to know what any of this is. Again, they're going to go, Demon Slayer is my favorite anime. Applying that to these, I don't know. Like, there is a side of me that really likes Demon Slayer. As much as I don't care for the story, it is artistically amazing and how they kind of coincide the animation, the action, and everything with the effects. I think like I don't even want to give credit to Bugfields to Zom 100 for this one. I like the splatter stuff and everything like that. I think the first episode was a very creative use of lighting and color and all that kind of stuff. But that's it. Like, beyond the first episode and that initial, like, oh, the blood is different colors, it's painty. It's not like it's doing anything creative with it going forward. I still think it's a great series. They did a phenomenal job with it. Hats off to Bug Films for taking their time, even though they should have scheduled it better to begin with. It's like, I like that you wait, but you should have not have had the problem to begin with. But it is what it is. Sometimes production studios just kind of push these studios to turn it out quickly at a last minute. So, I think overall, Oshi no Ko keeps a very consistent and very unique style to it that I really like. Chainsaw Man, maybe. Hell's Paradise, I think what my initial appeal was the art direction and the style that they had for that one, which is partly kind of co-opted from the manga itself. A lot of the stuff is co-opted from the mangas and their original source materials, which is hard to give it too much credit in some regards. I don't know, I guess I go Oshi no Ko. Maybe. I don't even remember what I was kind of looking at for art. I know Oshi no Ko was one of them. Yeah, I was looking at Hell's Paradise. I was looking at Zom 100, Dark Gathering, Undead Murder Farce, and Migi Dali. Which Migi Dali and Migi Dali would not be included because it was fall. But the rest of them could have been included. There you go. So yeah, I guess I'll go for like maybe Hell's Paradise or Zom 100 or yeah. Anyways, cinematography. I would under this category, I think there is without a shadow of a doubt Heavenly Delusion. That show was so well put together, very beautifully done. Constantly changed perspectives and transitions, and the narrative was kind of being told a lot with the visual design itself, like having them walking through streets and seeing like different perspectives of things like the mirrors and stuff like that. They kept it very active. The visual perspective was constantly active. There was some inconsistency with the visuals I didn't like, but there was kind of more artistic choice for like the OP and stuff like that, which I really love. I think it's an easy pick for me. I kind of want to say Chainsaw Man 2 because they did some really incredible stuff with that. I would not do Attack on Titan. There's some good shots though. This is season 2, so the very first half technically. No, there's some good shots, I admit. I think it's easy Heavenly Delusion for me. That's an easy one for me. This is going longer than I thought it was. Best Director. Let's look at Best Director. I don't think that there's really much competition here. Never mind. This is a tough one. Ooh, this is actually a very tough one. To be clear, I don't really blame the directors too much with the issues with MAPPA stuff. They're not really too much in control of that stuff in a lot of cases, so I'm not gonna get in that whole argument of giving them credit for these types of projects. If there's somebody out there that's complaining about one of these particular individuals, that's fine. But yeah, this is easy for me between these two. Why I say Bocchi the Rock is because this is a director that went above and beyond. He's currently working on Frieren, and this is a person that really does handle their projects with a lot of love, at least for these two projects. Bocchi the Rock, he was going and making crazy things on the side in order to apply it to scenes in the show itself, and was going the extra mile. And he did an incredible job with that, and doing an incredible job with Frieren. Oshinoko, I want to go more for in the idea that this is another director that's incredible at his work as well. So, this is a tough one. This is actually a very, very tough one. I think I'm going to go Bocchi. I do love also the work that was done on Heavenly Delusion as well, which I think was a very difficult thing to adapt in the way they did because of where it kind of leaves off at. And it's a very difficult thing to adapt, unfortunately, because it's so many different stories and times. But I think I'm going to go with Bocchi. That mainly in the idea that this guy went insanely above and beyond with that project. Character design, big nope. Kind of nope. Maybe. Nope for me. Nope for me. Maybe. These are just not in my ballpark for character designs. A lot of these are kind of very traditional, normal, plain. I'd probably go Oshinoko, I guess. This is a one that I'm just not going for. Animation, all the usual picks, nothing shocking here. Lack of Onimai, which is not surprising again. Lack of Heavenly Delusion, which I'm happy is in so many categories, should have been present here. Again, varying. I would argue when that aired, Heavenly Delusion, I think Hell's Paradise was airing at the time, and I was telling people that, my gosh, it's crazy that a non-MAPPA show is actually doing better visually than they are. The big kind of misses here is, like I said, Heavenly Delusion, probably Tsunade, and again, Onimai I don't really expect being in the list. But they're all good picks. Like, just pure based on animation alone, I'd probably go Demon Slayer. I know that's a controversial pick, but the problem I have with Jujutsu Kaisen is, while that scene with the fight in the bathroom was incredibly done, and most times it's a lot of just kind of blurring stuff on the page, and I just don't really get much out of it. I know, controversial take. So probably Demon Slayer. At least it's like consistently the art style itself. Besides the fish, it keeps its art style and its colors and everything consistent. It all matches each other. Whereas something like a lot of what MAPPA does, it ends up turning into a lot of smears and flat colors kind of gliding across the screen, which I openly admit is mostly because the studio is pushing them to do it in like 2 minutes. So, but that doesn't change the fact that the end product is kind of scuffed because of it. And Attack on Titan, I'm not even going to go with because of a lot of CGI. But this is technically the first part, which wasn't nothing really there that kind of stands out to me, unfortunately. So there you go. Original anime. Wow. Akiba Maid War, was that even original? Again, happy to see Do It Yourself. I don't think Akiba Maid War was an original. No, it was. Okay. Oh, okay. That's why it's not in my list. It's because it was the previous year. Again, this is the whole problem with this stuff being back in 2022. It's like I forget about them, so it's not in my original list. And I'm like, wait, what is it? Was this one of those ones that had a manga or something that was just before it? Anyways, yes, I'm very happy to do it yourself is in there. I think that's an easy win for me. The only ones that I kind of was looking at was Overtake, but that's a fall. Bang Dream, it's my go, would have been a good pick as well. Gundam Witch Mercury is a good pick. Revengers, maybe. Magical Destroyers. I would put Magical Destroyer and Revengers over Marginal Service. Easy. I didn't watch Birdie Wing, so I can't say anything about it. But these are all good picks. Besides the fact that Okiba May War I kind of fell off on very quickly. Do It Yourself is an easy one for me. Best film, I don't know. I barely get any films, but apparently they are picking Kaguya-sama. So why is this not in comedy? So judges, you've just revealed your card. You are acknowledging Kaguya-sama Love is War First Kiss. Why is it not? Maybe they're maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the background where they're now distinguishing that you have, for like things like comedy, you cannot have movies. Could be, but anyways. But no, I didn't watch any of these. I do need to watch Suzume though, but this was a very good one. New series, best new. What is this? What is this category? What? Just put anime of the year. I guess it's just to distinguish because they probably made this. Let's see if it even says it in there. While countless new anime are created each year, this category honors the series and spin-offs that stand out. These and spin-offs, really? You're going to put spin-offs as a category or a qualifier in there? So if it's something that's like a One Piece like side story, it's included, which defeats the whole purpose of distinguishing itself from being beat to death in the anime of the year by big titles like Attack on Titan. Anyways, let's move on. Oshinoko, Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise. I mean, they're all good shows. Again, there's a lot of other shows that I would pick in here. Let me see. Let's see. Onimai, Yuzuki Family's Four Sons. I'm glad Oshinoko's in there. I'm glad Heavenly Delusion's in there because those are my biggest picks. Danger of My Heart would have been a really good pick. Literally one of the best shows of that entire year. Other than that, Bungo Stray Dogs wouldn't involve. Magi Revo would have been a good pick as well. 100 Girlfriend's a fall show. Gosh, I keep getting stuck in the fall shows. So it's a good list. It's got a lot of my picks, but I think Onimai and Dangers is the biggest oofs out of this list that should be in there. But for me, probably Oshinoko. Heavenly Delusion's a really close second for me. Best continuing series. So we're just going to split them and we're doing them anyways. So this is continuing. So we have Anime of the Year, which is every show ever. Then we have continuing series, which is the ones that are in there that are just kind of continuing. And then we have this one over here, which is not include the ones that are now new. Whatever. Vinland Saga. I think easy Vinland Saga. But this was easily out of all these was my favorite. So there you go. Anime of the Year. It is time for the anime. That was like the anticlimactic. I should have done like a little drum roll into it. But Anime of the Year. Let's see. Oshinoko. Very happy to see it there. Bocchi the Rock. Actually surprised that people still remember it, but it just never died. I think Bocchi the Rock did so well in keeping in this year's anime awards just because people just did not let it go. It kept the fandom. Artworks being done by it on a regular basis. They're still hitting the drum on it even today. The Discord channel that we have on our server will not die because people will keep posting in there and it doesn't get archived. So that tells you that people are just keeping the thing alive. Chainsaw Man. Expected. As much as people thought that people hated it, people loved it, and it's going to be in the list. These are all just again okay. So I'll say, of the 6, 4 are just givens. They are popularities. They're going to be in the list no matter what. So yeah, the bottom 4 don't shock me. They're not surprising. I don't care. Shrug kind of things. I enjoy each one of them. But they're nowhere near like shows that I really enjoy and love the content of them. Bocchi the Rock and Oshinoko are kind of like the not mainstream, but if you're an anime fan, you are watching these. So I do like the fact that we have literally mainstream. These are the only shows that there's this massive group, and this is not me talking gatekeeping. This is just reality. I'm not talking gatekeeping here. This is reality. There is a large, massive group of people that are watching anime, but they maybe watch 1 to 2 shows a year. That's these shows. These are the big shonen shows that people that are not deep entrenched in watching every anime, these are the shows they watch. The big anime fans, the ones that watch 2 to 5 shows each season at least, the ones that just are in love with anime and they're just constantly in it. They're in communities around anime. They love anime. They love looking at it constantly. That's these 2 picks up there. So I'm glad that there's at least 2 like massive fandoms. Unfortunate that yes, we don't have the deep niche titles. The deep anime fans are into things like Onimai and stuff like that, but that's expected. I didn't expect that stuff to stay there. Like again, Onimai was not even watched in the West. It's barely on anybody. It's barely even up there memberships on most websites. Nobody watched it. As I noted when I was doing my your favorite anime is not that popular for winter that year. It was number 1 in Japan. Japan loves it. Over here, nobody watching Onimai. So again, I didn't expect Onimai to be in any of these lists. But it is what it is. Like I said, there's a few in here that I'm very happy with. So the judges did surprise me this year around. Of these, Oshinoko. Again, I would love Onimai to be in there, but Oshinoko is literally like my second favorite of the year. I would like to see Heaven Illusion get attention in here, but it is what it is. So there you go. I'm glad Oshinoko's there. I hope it wins. There's a good chance that here's my predictions for the awards itself. As per usual, they're going to do daily voting and all that kind of stuff. They're probably going to do Twitter voting again, which I really hate. People around... There's going to be a massive spread for the mainstream anime fans that are going to be hitting these 4 right here like crazy. I'm kind of curious if Demon Slayer will get snuffed this time around by Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe even Chainsaw Man. But there's a side of me that kind of believes that the majority fandom that just watches, again, mostly shonens, are going to be fighting down here. And that's going to spread the shonen vote. And then there's going to be a group of people that are going to be voting for Oshinoko. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have the shonen spread for these ones down here. Oshinoko is going to get quite a bit of their focus. And then the judges... Because if I remember, and unless they change something, judges will get a weighted scale on there. Like, I don't know what it is, like a 50-50 or 50-40 or 60-40 or something like that. The judges have a weight on the final vote. So all these votes are going to be over here, spread over shonens and stuff. And I think the judges are going to push Oshinoko. And that's going to tip it over. So I think, just like last year, that was my prediction in the previous awards, was Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I assume that the judges... we're going to be picking Cyberpunk. The majority fans voting daily are going to be pushing shonens, and the judges were going to tip over the scale with Cyberpunk. Sure enough, Cyberpunk won. So I think the same thing's going to happen this year. It's my prediction. Same thing's going to happen this year. Oshinoko's going to win. Or possibly Bocchi. I want to say it's going to be Oshinoko because it's got, again, recency bias, but I think Oshinoko does so much more. But I think there is a chance that Bocchi could as well. Just because Bocchi's in so many categories, it kind of shows me that the judges, this is their sweetheart. But I think the general fandom maybe might push Oshinoko. I don't know. This is a toss-up for me. One of these 2 is going to win, though. I think it might be Oshinoko, but we'll see. That's my prediction. But that's it. That's all the picks for the anime awards from the judges, and that's my picks for which ones I like. Again, hats off to the judges. They did a lot better than I thought they would. There is a couple categories, like I said, like comedy, which is missing a lot of very critical series. There's not too much surprise when it comes to a lot of the shonen picks, which a lot of people, I think, argue that a lot of these shonens aren't really kind of holding up, but they're still kind of picking them because they're popular. And like I said, comedy and comedy and romance, I think those two lists are missing out some very specifically important shows. But yeah, that's my picks. Hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what your picks are, if you're happy with the lists or not. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super links, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Y'all take care.